Can I or you fully code this design right here and make it responsive with HTML and CSS without using live reload and checking the result in the browser once? Let's find out. What is up, everybody? Gary Simon here, of course, and today we've got a first time for this channel. I've never done one of these blind, no viewing the results of your HTML, CSS process videos. I've never done this once in my life, so I'm kind of interesting to see how well I'm going to perform. So basically, I designed this right here. This is the desktop version of this very strange purpose of a website where you indulge in the consumption of edible sands. Yeah, whatever. But here's also the mobile version. And so the task is to fully code the HTML, the CSS, and make it responsive, mobile first, without at all during this entire process checking the results in the browser. And the purpose of this is to see how confident you are. You know, can you do this? How close will you get? I can guarantee you I will not get perfect. I will not be perfect about it. There will be things I'll probably have to adjust afterwards. And so I would like you, as a participator, to click on the Adobe XD link here in the YouTube description and try to do this yourself before even watching my solution. See what you can, how close you can get to try to achieve this result. You know, what is your HTML markup going to look like? What is your CSS going to look like? All right, and then we can compare notes afterwards. And hey, you can even share your results with me on Twitter if you wish, or in the YouTube description. All right, but wait 1 second before we begin. I wanted to highlight the sponsor of this video, which is Hostinger.com. So Hostinger offers some of the fastest and also most reliable and cheapest with the best support hosting solutions, along with email, domain, etc., that you can find on the internet. So we want to focus on shared web hosting, all right? So this is going to be the best bang for your buck if you're starting out like with a personal portfolio or whatever. Let's choose this right here, select, and this is the most popular premium shared hosting option. When you click on the top link here in this YouTube description, it's gonna take here, and you're going to use this coupon code to get 10% off. All right, so you can choose either just 1 month, or you can go all the way to 4 years, where it basically comes out to $1.97 per month. So I personally use them, and I also recommend using Hostinger. And I'm also, as a bonus, I'm gonna show you how to take the project that we create and very quickly get it up and running on your own Hostinger website. All right, here we go. Okay, so I already have a project here started. It's just empty, you know, just a boilerplate HTML. We got our CSS right here. I'm using Sass and I'm already watching it. We have a single background.jpg. I'll link that in the YouTube description. It's just an Unsplash image. And let's rock. So when I do HTML, when I write out the HTML, I like looking at the full desktop version first, because then that gives me a full idea of how many HTML elements I'm going to need. If you only had to design for just the very simplified, or the much more simplified stacked version of a layout, you wouldn't have to, typically, you wouldn't have to have as many HTML elements to achieve this layout versus this one. Sometimes it may be the same, but depending on what you're dealing with, but I do like to look at this one when I'm dealing with the HTML process. All right, so got to think ahead here. A little tricky because I don't get to see what the hell I am doing. All right, so this is the body. Think of this overall container, this blue outline as the body element. So inside of here, we really just have one child element inside of the body element. Let's knock that out. So we'll just call this container. So div class container, yes, I'm using abbreviations. It makes CSS a lot, or HTML, writing HTML a lot faster. You can do a search on my channel for a crash course on that. And then inside of container, what do we have? Well, first of all, we have the background. So we can achieve that with CSS. We don't have to worry about the background sand sort of thing with that. But so inside of it, we have these elements. You know, we have 1, 2, 3 right here. Then we have one here, and this has a couple elements inside of it. But really, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, all right, we really just have 2 elements that we have to account for that are going to be children or inside of, or child elements inside of our container element. And so we have a headline, which is Tasty Sands, so strange. And then we have this element right here, which is a subheadline. This element right here, this little line, and this one, that can be achieved without creating HTML markup. We can simply use a paragraph element here, and then we'll use a pseudo element of before to add this little element right here. So what I want to do is add an entire, this is temporary just to show you. Let's do this and make this red and make this bold. Okay, so this is going to be, there's going to be an element, a parent element of these two right here, of these two elements. And then this is going to be its own element as well. So we have two elements that are inside. So for the type portion, for the headline and subheadline, we'll just make, I'll just call this, we'll use a main element. That's fine. And then we'll have our H1, Tasty Sands. And then also a paragraph. I did actually use something other than lorem ipsum. Hit Control B, get rid of that sidebar. Visit our tropical paradise and indulge in the consumption of our edible sands. Okay, awesome. Strange, but awesome. And then also we have this element. It's aligned to the bottom, the very bottom. So we'll think of it as a footer, you know. Although it could be also a button, you know, because this whole thing's gonna be clickable, but we'll just make this part clickable, whatever. So let's just put footer. Inside of there, it's just one element, our sands. We'll just make this a link. ahref equals going nowhere. It's gonna be our only link, so we don't need to add a class. We'll just reference that in there. Eat our sands, okay. I don't know. It was this image, and then I'm messed up mentally, so I came up with this concept. All right, so that's it for our HTML. I mean, is that really it? Let me make sure I'm thinking ahead here, because we have our div class container, we have our main element, we have these inside, and then we have our footer and there. And our main element will have padding, because this or all around here has padding, but this does not. So we need to think about that. So I can't give this container, which is div class container, this here, any padding, because then that will affect this down here, because this doesn't need any padding. So I'm gonna apply the padding on the main element. I think that's its main use case. All right, so mobile first. Let's put this like right here so we can always see it. And let's get started with the CSS. All right. I want to get a few things out of the way, just some quick boilerplate sort of CSS rule sets. All before, all after. We're going to do box sizing, border box. Now what that does, in case you don't know what that is, basically we're selecting every HTML element there is, and we're specifying box sizing, border box process. And this is an issue where you deal with like an overflow issue when it comes to elements in which you've placed a width and then you added padding or margin on top. It ends up creating vertical or horizontal scroll bars, and it just messes up your alignment. So this kind of just resets that, and it prevents it from happening. Let's do our body here, and let's do a margin 0. I always do that. I always just get rid of the default margin on situations. Let's also do, let's see here. We can do height, 100 viewport height. And then we'll do font family. This is Poppins. I already have it installed. I'm not gonna bother going to Google and importing it. Although if this is a real project, you would want to. And then after that, let's see here. We have our div class of container. All right, so container. Let's see here. What do we need for container? Well, what we need for container is the background. So we're going to do background. We'll do background. It's going to be URL. Let's see here. It's going to be it's assets, right? Yeah, there we go. Assets and bg.jpg. All right, and then background size cover. All right, that looks good to me. I hate not being able to see it. I've never done this before. This is horrible. I hate it. Okay. Now, next up, The way I have this set up, no, we're good. Okay. So now what we'll do is we're going to get into our main element. And we need to apply padding to the main element. So what are we doing? So we'll do main here, and we'll do a padding. I just want padding on the left and right, really. I can create margin from the H1 element, I suppose. So padding 0, and like, let's see what this is. If this is, we hover over that, that says 59. All right, so if we take a calculator, I was dealing with taxes here. Horrible event. I'm telling you, taxes. Somehow I made twice as much as I did last year, and I didn't think that this year, so we had to pay a lot more than we thought. Anyways, let's just say 60 divided by 16, which is the default font size, 3.75. Now I found that sometimes these translations are a little bit weak. Like it looks like it ends up being more. Let's just do, we're gonna do 3 M units, but 0 on the top and bottom. Yeah. Actually, we'll do 0 on the top, 3M. We'll just do that. We'll leave it on bottom here as well. And then also, just so we have equal padding, I guess we could take our footer. Oops, fingers are in the wrong spot. We're gonna do padding. We'll just do the 3M units as well. All right. And what I want to do now for container, all the text in there is white, so we'll do color white. All right. Let's also take our H1 element, which is working here. Okay, so we're going to do font weight bold, and then we're going to do font size. What is the font size here? It's like, it's large and in charge. It is, I must have closed that. There we go. All right, so we're going to do 84 divided by 16. 5. All right, let's just do 5 rem units on the H1. So 5 rem. All right. Now we have to think about margin top. If I hold Alt and we look up here, it's 131. Let's just do margin top 4 M units. Generally, when it comes to margin and padding, I use M, and then for font size, I use rem. Rem is relative M unit, and it only derives its relative scale based on the HTML or the root's font size property. So margin top of 4 M units. Oh, I can't do that if I'm doing. I just remembered something very important. This is going to make our margins insanely large if we have this reset at 5 rems. So this would become something insanely large. You know what? I think I'm just going to do 1 there. Or like 0.8. All right. We'll see how that turns out. I have no clue. All right. So now we'll take our paragraph, which is also inside of our container. It's our final element. And what do we want to do with that? Okay, so our paragraph, I know we're going to use a line height. The line height here and the font size is set at 25 and then 38. I kind of like Figma because it gives you a CSS. Let me see here. Yeah, well, that's fine. What we can do is put, first I know the font size is going to be something like font size. What is 24? I never remember these. 24 divided by 16, 1.5. Okay, I knew that. 1.5 rem units. All right, line height. Now you can use percentage values, I know, for this. I'm going to try 93%. All right, so now we have that. We also have to use our before. So now we're going to use position relative, which is this old little hack. Whenever you use a pseudo element to add like a little graphic, like this little line right here, you take on the parent position relative, and then we put position absolute, and then content empty. And then we're going to do, and then that way when we position this up above the element, it will it'll position it in relation to the paragraph element and not the entire document, so to speak. So we're going to do top negative negative 2M units, and then we'll do left 0. We'll do width. I'm just going to keep a consistent width. We're going to put this in, actually, where's the width? 97. Let's just say 4M. Actually, no. Let's get this out. 97 divided by, I should do 96, whatever. Divided by 16 is 6. Let's just say 6M units. All right, and then border bottom, 1 pixel solid, white. I think that is all I need, but I'm not sure. I'm probably really wrong. I don't know. Yeah, what is the distance between this here? Oh, it's 17. So you know what? Let's just make this 1M unit. All right. Okay, so far so good. Let's do the same thing for our button down here. Also, we have to take our footer, make that white. So our footer is right here. Background, white. Now we'll do the hyperlink there in the middle. We're gonna do a, let's see. First, I know I'm gonna do position relative display. Do I need to do display? I'm trying to think based on what I want. Let's just do display. Like if I want to add some padding to it, I'll do display block to make it more clickable and not just so they have to hover over that area, if that makes any sense at all. And then what I'll do is put an and before. You know what? I hate retyping a lot of this stuff, so let me just copy this. All right, so let's see. It's basically going to be the same thing, except this is going to be black. Make sure to recolor our links. That'll be black. Font weight, bold. Text transform, uppercase. All right. Okay, I think that's good for me. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting. No, I'm happy with this. I think we're ready to rock and try to tackle a breakpoint, a media query, to get us into this section. I still want to look at it so bad just to see if I did the mobile version right, but I'm not going to. At media, only screen and min width. I'm just going to say something like 700 pixels. All right, and inside of there, we have to think, all right, what changes, what rule sets need to change based on what I've already specified up here? So not much, if I really think about it. I do want to take the body and notice we can see the actual background of the body element right here. So we need to give that a background color in a regular CSS. So we're going to take this, copy that. We're going to do background. All right. But you don't see it here, but you do see it here. All right. So we need to give some sort of responsive / fluid white space. So outside of this container element. So what I'll do is we can put, how do I want to achieve that? We'll do body. Oh, and I also want to make sure it's centered horizontally and vertically. So we'll take our body element, we'll do display, grid, place content, center. All right, that always helps. And then just give it some padding. So we'll give it padding, which is on inside of an element. Let's do like 7 viewport width. I've been liking doing adding padding and margin with viewport width sometimes. So that'll just give us some fluid padding or white space on the outside of this element. And so now that we have some white space all around, we're also going to take a container element and we're going to give it this. There's a very subtle shadow, so let's do that. It's not worth adding it up here because we don't see that shadow on the mobile version. So container, box shadow, we can get all our values from here. It's basically, let's just say 30, 30, 30 on all of them. So X 30 pixels, Y 30 pixels. I think 0 is, this is spread, and then blur is 30 pixels. RGBA, oops, 0, 0, 0. And what is the alpha? 16%. So 0.16. That should give us that. And then also, I'm going to make sure that this sits at the absolute bottom, the footer, I'm going to take our container and convert it into a display flex, all right? So for display flex, we also want to put flex direction, column, so that'll stack everything, and it really, container only has 2 elements, the main and footer, so it's going to take those. By default, display flex will create rows. We want columns, and then we can take our footer and do margin top auto. And that's a way to take a child element that's, or a flexbox item that is inside of, you know, a flex container like this. And you can say, if you want that element to be at the very bottom, you just put margin top auto and that will work. So this should align to the bottom. Next up, I'm trying to think, oh, we also have to revise these because these lines, these little graphic borders, I guess, these dash borders, they're not dash, but you know what I mean. They're stacked, but we need them to go to a column. So what would we need to do for that? Well, what I think we need to do, let's take our, let's see here. Let's do the top one. So we're container, P, and before. All right, so let's do that. Container, P, before. We'll say top 0 because it no longer needs to be above the element. It just needs to be right here. And then we need to take our, let me think here, Gary. Oh, let's do this because we need to access our paragraph anyways. So let's take this. Sorry, didn't think ahead, so I have to restructure a little bit of things. This needs to be, I think I could do padding left to create this indentation. These are one of the areas I screw up sometimes. So if the width of our thing here is 6 M units, let's just do 7. All right, 7 M units. One thing I'm forgetting though is the paragraph size. I forgot to specify that. It looks like it's around 2 M units. Paragraph, oh, I did that. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Okay, what about this? This is 21, so that's kind of like a 1.3. I don't think we did that. Let's go to our font size, 1.3 M units. Now, this, I'm going to change to 5, just to like 0.8. And then we're going to change padding left to like 5.5. All right, I have no clue if this is going to be probably a disaster. Now I need to think about how am I going to get the height out of this element. The height of this is 285. So I'm just going to do 10 M units. So we're going to come back to our footer. Or I already specified a padding though, which could give us our, I'm not sure if it's going to be that much though. If that's going to be enough. 3 M units is only 16 times 3. Well, one thing I do need to consider is that these should all be in line, like this along the same column, that is. Notice how they all kind of basically start along the same column here. So with that said, what did we specify for the main padding? 3M. Okay, it is 3M units. So I guess it would be pretty consistent if I also specified this as 3M units, but I'm not confident that. Well, I don't want to get too specific. I mean, if I can end up with something that looks like this, but maybe the margins and the white space are off a little bit, that's okay. What does that say? I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it. All right, so let me think if I forgot anything else here. So container, display, flex, direction column. We're taking our paragraph, padding left. Our footer needs to be the same thing. So for our footer, we have footer, A, and before. So let's do A. I don't know if it's going to work at all. We'll see. All right. At this point, I'm kind of just like, my brain is fried. Like, I can't foreshadow any more of what's going to happen. So I got 102 lines of CSS. We're going to see if this thing works. Oh, please. Please, at least don't embarrass yourself, Gary. Please just make it work. I mean, that's all that I want. Please work. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I got the blur wrong. Hold on, it showed up on the other side. There it is. All right, let's do oh man, okay. Could definitely improve this. This is like way out of whack. At least we got the little graphics kind of. Here, let's compare them. So line height is completely off. This is, the line height here is off as well. If I take my H1, let's go ahead and try to fix this up. So let's go back here. Oh wait, let's look at the desktop version. Okay. As you can see, I completely screwed that up. I don't use the box. Usually I use box shadow generator, so I don't even learn. Let me fix that right away. Where's my box shadow at? Is it 0 on that one? There we go. All right, that's better. So, ooh, this is interesting. This is longer than this line down here. I think that has to do with the fact that I've set a different font size here. So if we hard coded just like a pixel value, these would both be exactly the same. But let's work on this here. So we see we have this white space above. And so if we look at our, let's see here. What's creating that is the H1 element. So if we take our H1 element, sorry, I moved this off screen. I have all this crap in the background that I should have gotten rid of. I was on Reddit and stuff. Let's take margin top. We have to put 0 on that. And then on the background, I forgot about this issue. We could put padding top, 3M. Okay, we could do more than that, like 7M. All right, and then we could see down here, if we wanted this to be truly, okay, we can take on our main element, height, 100 viewport height. All right, so now that's screwed up. Why is that all the way down there? I'm trying to figure out why it's pushing everything else down. Because we do have our fix. Let's see here. Main. Oh, we don't want it on main. We want it on, sorry, container. Now what we can do is we can take that, this stuff, because now it makes sense to use Flexbox, this right here. Let's remove it from there and let's put it in here. And then take our footer and put that right here. All right. Okay, and then I can fix up the H1 here. So 5 rem units, you know, we can probably bump that up to 6. All right, and then the line height. Sometimes I just experiment with the line height, like 5M. Oh wait, no, 0.8M. That's a little bit better. I'm gonna go bigger. All right, and then for our line height here, yeah, 117, maybe like 121. Just to show you can use different values or units or whatever. How about we go like 2 rem rather. And then do a margin top of like, sometimes I go crazy and just put a high value to see what happens. So I'm just looking at it, you know, from this perspective. This looks pretty good. And then down here, I want much more white space on the top. So our footer padding, let's do like 7M. There we go. Now we can not hard code, but we can, I don't know why I'm saying hard code. We just put like pixel values on these borders. That's completely fine to do for that type of use case. It's just a graphical element. So what we could do is width 120 pixels. That looks good. We'll take the one over here and put it as well. All right. Oh, I forgot text decoration. There we go. There. So just a little bit of finagling there. Let's see about the, yeah, so we kind of screwed things up now on the desktop version, which begins right here. So what we'll do is let's first revert back to what it's supposed to look like. And it was actually closer before those fixes, but I was fixing the desktop version. So we have way too much white space here. Oh yeah, the width here, that needs to be adjusted. We have to give that an actual width. On the footer, let's do that right now. So we'll take our footer. Let's see if that did anything. Sorry, I was looking at something else. Oh my God, where is my, there we are, 40%. Ugh, that looks like crap. Yeah, this looks like crap. I don't like this right here. We're gonna have to fix that. So our paragraph element, We have font size 2 rem. Let's see if we have anything down here. Padding left. Padding left's actually pretty good right here. All right, and then it's all this margin or white space that's way too much right here. Okay, so our paragraph, margin top 6M. So we're gonna take this. Where are we at? Change it to like 3. That's much better. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do height 100 viewport height. We're gonna unset that. And that was on the container, I think. There we go. And of course, we're a little bit screwed up over here. I'm gonna take both of these elements, the pseudo elements of before and after. We'll do 0.3 M units. That way they're pretty much in line now. And then I have to fix this issue. So padding left 5.5 M units, and then they're behaving differently because I believe there's a larger font size applied to the font or the paragraph element as opposed to the 8 element. So we can just bump this up. Let's try 7. It's closer. Try 8. I'm just kind of eyeballing it at this point. We'll take width here. We'll just put 50%. All right. Now, one thing I don't like, there's not as much. Let's look at the actual original. Oh yeah. Okay, so we can scale down the size. I think, what did I put at those? Like they were 100 pixels. Where the hell are we? We could probably go like 85. That's much better. So 85 here. We'll do 85 here. All right, so that we're getting closer. There's a lot more white space on the inside, so we take our main element. I forgot about that. And what is our padding that we had before? 3 M units. You could use viewport widths if you want as well. Let's just bump everything up. See what happens. That's better. Although this is a little bit, I guess this got screwed up. Oh, that's because this now needs adjusted. Our footer. I said 6 M units here. So on our footer, yeah, we had, I should have just copied that. These are a lot closer. We kind of got to fix that real quick, and then I'll be done because I think we get the point. What we'll do here is reduce this amount of padding left. 3.5. 6.7.5. There we go. All right, and that is it. Now, yes, I've changed. I don't have a hat and I have a floating head, but if you want to actually get your site up and running, let's say for instance, you've created your site. The sponsor of this video is Hostinger, which obviously is a hosting sponsor. Here's a very quick and easy way to do it for very cheaply with a hosting service that I definitely recommend. So first thing, make sure you have a domain name. Always have a domain name. Don't use one of these weird subdomains. Go to hostinger.com and click on under domains, domain checker. Find your domain name that you want and add it to your cart. Second is their hosting. You have a small business, obviously, if you're all starting off, like if it's a portfolio or some sort, you're going to want to use just the shared hosting. It's going to be perfect for what you need. And also, obviously, click the top link of the YouTube description, and that way you can take advantage of the coupon that we want. So let's just choose premium shared hosting. We'll choose select here, and momentarily it'll load. And you want to make sure that the coupon code DesignCourse is right here, ready to rock. Just choose the 1 month if you want, or if you want to save more, 12 months, 24, all the way to 4 years, and it becomes up to like $1.97 per month. And go ahead and submit your payment. Now at that point, once you log into your account and you have your domain and also your hosting, you'll be able to click on under your hosting. We'll say it's GarySimon101.com. Click on manage, and it will scroll down here to a section. Now there's a lot of different ways that you can get your website onto the live web or on your domain. Here's just a real quick way: import website. So you can just zip up your website. So in the context of the project that we just built, let's say you want to get that onto the web. All right, so if we go over here, this is the folder that we have that I created that project throughout this tutorial. So we just select these two folders plus the file, the index.html. We are going to add it to the archive. So this is Windows that I'm doing this in using WinRAR. And we just want to choose a zip file. We'll call it sans.zip. All right, you can see the new file right there. And then choose a file. And then you'll want to go ahead to that same directory and then choose sans.zip, upload it, and guess what? You'll be able to visit your site, whatever.com, .net, .org, whatever, and it will be there. So definitely take advantage of the offer. I clicked on the link here in the top link of the YouTube description to take advantage of that 10% off.